So I was on my way over.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make a quick stop at the corner store across from the soccer field on campus.
Okay.
And I was gonna get some chips and an Arnold Palmer, like I always fucking do. And I pull into the store with no one else in the lot. And as I pull in, I make direct eye contact with the one employee at the store who had just taken the cigarette carton out of his shirt pocket to take his break.
I'm sure he was glad that you...
Oh, yeah. And I just looked at him and gave that very, smile where you're like, I feel like shit and I'm sorry, but I need these chips.
I mean... if he was the only one there...
I needed my chips and my Arnold Palmer. They're very important to me.
Of course. Are those also like 99 cents?
Yes.
Nice. Oh yeah, because you sent me a Snapchat earlier.
Prices on the can. Though.
Yeah, the prices on the can. Anyway, welcome back everybody to episode 2. Oh yeah, get yourself set up there. I don't even know if that picked up on the mic, but
probably didn't.
Both got our sparkling beverages. Welcome back to episode 2, the Ticket Stub Movie Club podcast.
This is how we open every.
This is how we open every
by me burping into the microphone.
Yeah, I'm Alan. I don't know if you want to introduce yourself.
I'm also Alan.
He's also Alan. So, there's a lot of news.
Yeah,
surprisingly large amount of movie news this week.
Hit him with a rundown.
I got announcement, some animated movies from Adult Swim.
Yes.
You were excited. You texted me.
Yeah.
You were so happy about this.
Aqua Teen will return.
So we're getting more Aqua Teen content.
Oh my god, I'm so fucking happy.
What were the other two? It's
Metalocalypse and Venture Bros.
Haven't seen legitimately any of them, but
I haven't
you like Venture Bros and Aqua Teen.
No, I haven't seen Venture Bros, but I fucking
no, it's Blake that
I fucking love Aqua Teen. It's one of my favorite shows, like cartoons or animated shows ever.
Speaking of animated movies, Bong Joon-ho announced that he's doing an animated movie.
Wait, what?
You didn't hear this?
No!
This broke, it was like Korean news that broke yesterday. He announced...
fuck yeah!
He's secured funding for 2 new movies.
Yeah?
One is going to be a Korean animated movie, and then the one after that is going to be a English language movie.
Not as excited about that?
I am a big fan of, I think not a huge fan, but I think Snowpiercer, Okja, they're like solid movies.
Solid. It's definitely
probably is like his lower tier stuff.
Yeah, it's a bad Bong Joon-ho film by like his standards, I think.
I'm interested in seeing him do an animated movie though.
I'm very excited.
If Wes Anderson can do it and like break the idea of like what we're used to, I'm excited. Especially with him. He's a great storyteller.
Oh yeah, I really like Bong Joon-ho. Hot take.
Joel Cohen's new movie.
The one that's just Joel Cohen?
Yeah, the Tragedy of Macbeth got picked up by Apple TV Plus for streaming. Also an A24. I didn't know that. So.
What Apple TV?
The Apple TV Plus streaming service.
It carries like A24.
They have a lot of A24 stuff. They did
They're throwing a lot of money at movies.
Yeah, I think they just want to get a better like exclusive library because you kind of have to if you want to compete.
Yeah.
But they have a lot of like a lot of A24 content. I think Ted Lasso is A24. I'm not.
Really?
I don't think it is. Okay, I don't think it is, but I know it's Apple.
Yeah.
I know Boys State, that documentary that was really good last year was A24.
Speaking of Apple TV, first promotional image for Killers of the Flower Moon.
I know. It was unrecognizable.
Yes.
Unrecognizable in those photos.
It's a bit of a smaller thing about that movie, but one of my favorite musicians has an acting role in this movie.
That country artist that you like.
Jason Isbell.
Yeah.
Because I've been listening to a lot of his work in Drive-By Truckers and Solo recently.
Knives Out 2, the Knives Out sequel, got 3 new cast member announcements.
Batista?
Yeah, Batista, Ed Norton,
Yeah.
and Catherine Hahn this morning.
Damn.
Yeah, so a lot. 2 more Masters of the Universe. Was that a movie or a new series?
No,
I saw it briefly
the
on Twitter.
He-Man universe.
Yeah, I know what it is.
So, Netflix is doing... Because Netflix had the She-Ra reboot.
Yeah.
Which fucking slaps. And I highly recommend
I could tell that you liked it because you were arguing with people on Twitter about it.
No, I wasn't arguing with
I thought... I was reading a thread. I thought... Ignore me. I'm dumb. I'm dumb.
It's a fantastic show.
It's been a very long
day. I would highly recommend it.
Yeah.
So if it is remotely as good as the She-Ra series, I'm definitely in for He-Man.
And probably the biggest piece of news: the Golden Globes might be going away.
Oh no!
We might be losing the.
Anyway.
Did you hear about this?
Yeah.
They got dropped by NBC, so now no one will carry them, and also HFPA is in chaos because they're awful, awful people.
Yeah.
So
I don't see this as a loss. I'm just gonna be honest.
It's just the worst Oscars, which the Oscars are already really disingenuous and poorly run, and
just kind of famous people giving other famous people things.
Yeah.
Which I don't hate awards.
I like people that I like getting recognition.
Yeah, but
I mean, that never happens because you see people like The Lighthouse getting 1 nomination with no wins.
Yeah, I
got sent to a category where it was doomed to die to a Roger Deakins picture.
I don't really feel much sorrow in a second-tier award show not existing anymore.
Oh no. Someone who gets worse ratings than the Tonys. Mm. Oh well. Anyway, you want to jump right into our first discussion?
Okay.
I don't know if you had any other news.
No.
Are you joining the Knives Out 2 cast?
Yes.
I was asked. I don't think I'm going to do it, though.
I am playing Daniel Craig.
I'm going to be playing Catherine Hahn.
Not Benoit Blanc. I am playing Daniel Craig.
Meanwhile, Daniel Craig will be playing
Benoit Blanc. Yes.
I think I need to give Knives Out another chance.
I do, because
I really didn't like it the first time I watched it, and then everybody loves that movie.
I have watched the first half of Knives Out on a plane on the way to either Boston or Puerto Rico.
You don't even remember what plane it was?
Well, because I was going from Atlanta to Boston on a layover to Puerto Rico.
Ah.
I was in Boston for all of 10 minutes.
I'm shocked that Knives Out wasn't the highlight of your vacation.
There weren't a lot of highlights on this vacation because it's right when COVID hit.
Oh!
And we had to leave early, so...
Yeah, I almost went to New York, of all places, the week before the CDC was like, everyone is going to die!
Yeah.
So I had, I was, a day off from getting tickets, and they were like, please stay indoors and, don't talk to grandma.
Yeah.
Because you will murder your grandma if you go outside. I was like, well, shit, this sounds serious.
Yeah, because it was me and my friends, we went in the very short phase where it was cheap plane tickets.
That's, okay, my mom really tried to get me out, because I kind of had been following the news. I was like, I don't think I should go to New York right now.
Yeah.
Because people in New York are dying. And she was like, plane tickets are $40. I was like, maybe there's a reason they're $40, though.
Yeah, we got, round trip tickets to Puerto Rico for, $100.
Yeah.
And then as soon as we got there, 2 days later, they're like, we're closing down the island. And I'm like... Yeah, I'm just gonna go home and quarantine for a month.
I mean, we had friends...
And then it'll be over. It was not over.
I mean, it could be worse. No, that's pretty bad. I'm not even gonna say. I was gonna say, it could be worse. That's pretty bad.
Yeah. But today recommendations got lifted by the CDC for vaccinated people, which I am, so.
Same here. Been vaccinated for like a full month now. Plus.
I think I got my second shot 1 month ago
I forget they were halfway through May at this point.
1 month and a day ago.
I got my second shot at like the end of March. So it's been a month and change. Yeah. I don't have a good segue here into Doctor Strangelove.
Speaking of the world ending.
Yeah, speaking of the world ending, that's a good one. I'm really proud of you. You want to introduce this one, or?
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
First movie on the docket is Doctor Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb.
Did you love it, Quinn?
Yeah, I fucking loved it. I would say this is one of at least 2 Kubrick films that I would call, like, fucking perfect movies in their genre.
I would legitimately say this movie is a masterpiece from end to end, from credit to credit. This is my favorite Stanley Kubrick movie, just to get that out the door.
Every person that I have asked the question to has said that this is their favorite Kubrick film, which is like 5 people.
Look, I mean, there's so many. It's Stanley Kubrick. There's so many. I would legitimately say that he has like 3 or 4 masterpieces in his category. I'm looking on Letterboxd right now. This is his 5th most popular movie, which is saying something.
I would not go as far to say it's my favorite Kubrick film, just because I adore 2001.
Yeah.
And that's one of my absolute favorite movies of all time.
I mean, it's hard to go wrong with Kubrick.
Yeah.
This is my favorite, but there's a reason that I own 4 Kubrick movies.
Yeah.
4K, too. Like, because they're absolutely stunning pieces. Stanley Kubrick puts so much attention to detail, like an obsessive amount of detail into his movies.
It's really hard to understand. He's considered among the absolute greatest directors of all time, universally, for a very good reason.
Yeah, I mean,
because he is.
He's like the first that a lot of people bring up when you're like, who is the greatest director of all time?
I would say he's probably the most common answer.
Probably because he probably is.
Yeah.
Just based on his catalog, so many hits.
How genre-defining and masterful his.
I mean, last week we were talking about.
How many fucking things have you seen pay homage to 2001?
Oh God. Everything.
Yeah, like the
Simpsons did it like 40,000 times.
He has on not even just film as a medium, but like television, video games, everything.
Yeah. I mean, last week, or I guess 2 weeks ago, we talked about my favorite Wes Anderson movie, which is The Grand Budapest Hotel, and I was watching the Criterion director's commentary. And they're just homages to Kubrick in that, which is, I mean, sure, but it's not the first place that I would say, like, pays homage. Like,
because Ex Machina has, if you look at it, it's a lot of, definitely pays tribute in ways to, like, or takes inspiration from.
And even, like, indie filmmakers.
2001.
Probably my favorite independent filmmaker working today, Don Hertzfeldt.
Oh, yeah.
For his
World of Tomorrow.
Yeah, his World of Tomorrow series. It's like crazy inspired by 2001.
Yeah, like any.
Welcome to this 2001 A Space Odyssey discussion, by the way.
Oh, we're gonna get to that sometime, and I'm gonna fucking go for it.
I haven't, of all my Kubricks, it's the only one I haven't watched yet since I've got it, and it's in beautiful 4K.
But yeah, about Strangelove.
Dr. Strangelove, do you want to just run over the plot real quick and then get into why we absolutely love it?
Just very nuclear disaster based, like
2 movies that really capitalize. Both movies we watched for this week really capitalize on political fears during the Cold War.
Yeah.
And are very much like social critiques on Cold War era paranoia. Mm-hmm. This one handles it much differently, though.
Yes, much more
lighthearted. Because it's a straight end-to-end comedy. it's still, like, deadly serious, too. It's a black comedy. Probably the best to ever do it.
I would
in
agree.
Just sheer execution.
Its performances, too, are...
Some of the greatest performances.
I think Peter Sellers in Dr. Strangelove might be the best, like, job any actor has ever done on a movie. Not necessarily the best...
He plays three
Not
characters.
necessarily the best performance, though it's up there. But, like, just with the 3 roles and how good he is in all 3 of them.
Just everything I see Peter Sellers in, I leave my viewing just gushing over how fantastic. He's legitimately, I think, if not my favorite actor of all time. He's
very much up there.
He's a top 5 placement in my hypothetical, like, list of best actors. He's just so... I mean, everything he's in, he's very charismatic, does his job to a T.
And really, like, blends into the role.
Yeah, he does...
disappears into
He does 3 in this role. Like, this movie alone, he does...
President Dr.
he does...
Strangelove himself, and,
the
fuck is his name?
The British air captain.
Yeah.
Who I'm neglecting his name.
Yeah.
But also he has roles, like, in other Kubrick projects, like Lolita and Inspector Clouseau and Pink Panther.
Directed by Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah, directed by Stanley Kubrick. It's just so perfect. So every performance in this is just great. It's
I think
George C. Scott,
who is a shame that he didn't feel like he was not comfortable doing, like, comedic roles, because
he's so good,
so funny in this.
His facial acting
is spectacular in this. He really helps make this movie, like, to an incredible degree.
They have the scene where they're talking about...
He got tricked into this performance.
Yeah. That's another story that we can do a quick aside for. The story goes that he had a falling out with Stanley Kubrick over this movie because it was kind of uncomfortable for him to do a comedic performance. He felt like it was... I don't know if he felt it was, like, beneath him or anything. He's, like, a serious actor. Yeah. But Stanley Kubrick was like, okay, let's do, like, a joke take to kind of warm up. Just kind of flex your acting muscles. And then they just used those takes anyway. Because he's hilarious. He absolutely embodies the character that he's supposed to. It's just...
Yeah. He really brings it to life. And he's...
It's another example of just how great Kubrick is at what he does.
I will also say, I think that maybe the funniest scene in any movie I've ever seen is the Peter Sellers as the president phone call with Dimitri.
Yeah, No, of course this is a personal call, Dimitri. Well, of course I like hearing from you. I love that it's all, like... The whole
don't
scene.
Hear anything from the other side. It's just him.
But his reacting is so good that it implies a whole greater thing. Yeah.
It's oh my god, it's so perfect.
There's just so many, like, quotable and memorable lines, like George C. Scott when they're talking about the destructive world-ending capabilities of this Russian doomsday device, and he goes, we ought to get ourselves one of those babies. Pretty much everything.
The mineshaft gap and
everything that Peter Sellers does is Dr. Strangelove. Maybe we could get
with his
animals to be bred and slaughtered. I don't know if you can see the waveform pick up on the laptop when I did that.
What's it? His sentient Nazi hand.
Which
also noticed on this one, that when he's, like, beating the shit out of his hand to keep it down.
I love the noises he makes. He's like, no!
You
just
can see
grunts
the
and
actor,
groans.
You can see the actor for the, like, Russian ambassador.
Yeah, I picked that out.
Yeah, you can see him start to laugh and hold it in.
I have never noticed that, but I don't know why I picked it up specifically this time. We were watching this just in preparation of the podcast. I've never picked up that the Russian ambassador just cracks up
Oh,
in
yeah.
just broad view. I don't want to like just overreach. I also feel like that's definitely a testament to how good Peter Sellers was.
Oh, absolutely.
Is that I've watched this 5 or 6 times now, and I guess I just never took my eyes off of him.
Yeah, because he like very much draws you. He's also like I believe in that one like very center frame and like,
yeah, it's definitely the focal point of that
Yeah.
scene. Everything else is incidental. But his performance, it's
so
awe-inspiring.
magnetic. It's
It
so
captures
magnetic.
the audience.
Yeah.
It begs them to look away, you know?
God, he's so good in that movie.
Slim Pickens is Major Kong. The iconic writing the bomb scene.
Yeah.
It's another that's been parodied to death.
Oh yeah.
Because it legitimately, that alone is what people think of when they think of this movie.
Yeah.
Which is why it's legitimately one of the single most iconic scenes in film history.
So a very young James Earl Jones.
This is like his first role, yeah.
Yeah, who only has like 2 lines, which is a shame with that voice, but
Yeah, silky smooth. I'm about to sneeze. Well, now that I said it, it's not gonna happen.
Sterling
Yeah, this
Hayden,
was his first role. Was James
yeah.
Earl Jones?
I think he did like theater work before that, but this is like his
this
first,
is his first
like,
movie
film
role specifically. I don't know if he
Which,
did TV.
what a killer debut!
Absolutely, and he's not even like a
He's not-
tertiary character. He's kind of involved.
Yeah, he doesn't like
Not like
do a lot, but he's like
he doesn't steal the show, but he's
part
still,
of
like,
the very central plot.
Yeah, this is like a whole decade before the first Star Wars came out, too.
Yeah. Sterling Hayden's also fantastic.
Yeah, this is his second best role behind Click.
James Earl Jones or Sterling Hayden?
James Earl Jones.
Okay.
He's in Click, which I have seen.
I didn't know
I'm
he
not
was
proud
in
to
Click.
admit
I
that.
also
I didn't.
haven't seen Click. My parents owned it on DVD. I didn't watch it.
Apparently, Terry Crews is also in Click.
That's
This is not a discussion on Click directed by Stanley Kubrick, though. That's another Kubrick classic, but not the one we're talking about today.
Yeah, Sterling Hayden with his precious bodily fluids. You ever
Quinn.
seen a comic drink a
stole it
glass
from
of
me.
water?
Yeah.
He has so many like amazing lines and just performances in that movie.
I love the idea of figuring out a secret USSR plot to poison the American public because you were winded after having sex. It's so insane. It's so goofy. It is very unfortunately aged very well.
Yeah, because nothing ever changes.
Because that, like, I was watching that and I was like, good lord, this is just what QAnon is.
Yeah. Damn. Rip Stanley Kubrick. You would have loved QAnon.
It's just so unfortunate. There's like all this, his ramblings that would have been shocking to like a 1967 audience.
That man was the president the last 4 years, basically.
Yeah. It's just, you watch that and it's the exact same thing that like your grandma would repost on Facebook.
Yeah.
Like a really crusty, bit compressed JPEG of something that's just like, hey, did you know that Nazis are putting poison in our oatmeal? So, it's the liberal conspiracy.
Yeah,
This is what Biden's America is.
Also,
China is mailing bombs to people.
It's also fun to think that even back then, there are so many bombs just out there, the world could end at any second.
I mean, now, yeah.
Yeah.
How's it feel to be desensitized?
Yeah.
I don't even care if there's... Also, Invincible, new show, has a weird line about the United States government putting stuff in the public's drinking water. Just something very random. It's like non-essential to the show. Just one random line that was like, huh, interesting. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm not going to go ahead and spoil what our next recommendation is going to be.
I think you just did.
I think I did. By literally saying it out loud.
Yeah.
And then going into detail about it.
Yeah.
And then saying that it was going to be next week's recommendation.
Yeah.
Anywho. Also, just saw Keenan win in the credits here. Because he played Colonel Bat Guano. I thought it said Catherine Hahn. What a different movie it would have been.
Yes.
She probably still would have killed it, though. Oh, man. I don't have a lot of notes for this movie, unfortunately.
I mean, because, like, what else is there to say?
It's very... I don't think it's a movie
that I need.
This entire
segment is just really gushing about how good it is and, like, quoting lines from it. Because, like, we could talk about, like, the cinematography and how good the movie looks, but, like, that's been done to death. Like,
there's not a lot that we can add to this discussion that's not already been said, because it's like...
one of the most acclaimed classic movies in history.
Did you ever talk about it in, like, film class?
I'm sure...
For anybody listening, our good buddy Quinn here, and resident co-host of the, say, Graduate.
Yeah, I have a Bachelor of Fine Arts in World Cinema from Clemson University.
Isn't that great, folks? What a star.
And, we probably talked about Dr. Strangelove. Here's the thing.
Wouldn't you be shocked to learn that we have not talked about it in Parks and Rec? It's not brought up a ton in discussion about water table erosion and leisure studies.
There are probably a lot of movies that we covered that I don't know we covered because I didn't pay attention.
This man has a degree.
I got A's and B's in all my film classes, don't worry.
If any, is it too late to bring you up on academic integrity charges? Anybody from the Clemson University administration,
I never cheated.
If President Jim Clements is listening,
Jimbo.
Yeah, if President Jim Clements of Clemson University is listening here today, we publicly invite you onto the podcast to take Quinn's degree away.
Do it, Jimbo.
We'll record it. Yeah, we'll record it like Joe Rogan.
No, I never cheated in World Cinema.
Yeah,
I just got very good at bullshitting papers.
I'm still going through getting my degree right now, so I'm not going to talk during this segment. I'm going to plead the fifth here and just let you ramble.
Admit to my sins.
If you'd like to confess anything else, like if you've murdered anyone. Dr. Strangelove. It's a really good movie. Just because we've been doing so many short films and stuff recently, and I've been doing more and more stuff behind the camera, I start to notice cinematography a lot more in movies, and just like angles and blocking and framing. Yeah. Because there's some beautiful like framing of like the president sitting at the big table in the war room.
Yeah.
And there's like 40 other people.
From below shot on Sterling Hayden when he's smoking the cigar.
Yeah, it's a way to imply power.
Yeah.
Just little things like that.
That really get the message across, and see how like directors can use just images to convey like thoughts and emotions and kind of manipulate your...
I mean, it's something I've always noticed in movies, but I think now that I'm like...
It's something that you have actively thought about doing, and...
Yeah, because, I mean, we've both directed short films.
Yes.
We've both...
Together.
True, yeah, we co-directed one earlier this year. We were unfortunately snubbed for the Oscars, but we're making a Golden Globe push for next year.
This would go for 2022 because of when it was released.
So we're pushing to get a Golden Globe.
So we might still get nominated for that Oscar.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I'm going to go ahead and plug it again. Next coming week or so?
Yeah, because I'm moving on to my portion of the editing tonight after we film this.
Yep.
Or record this.
We're moving into the second stage of post-production.
For my solo film.
Yep, the behind the scenes is done. I'll probably leak that sometimes this week, just a little teaser. Yeah.
Send that to me, by the way.
What's up?
I want you to send that to me.
Oh, true, yeah. Encounter 2021, directed by Quinn Radels, our good resident co-host here. Be sure to catch that on this channel.
First time?
I'm going to promote the hell out of it and embarrass you.
Yeah. It's the first time I have directed by myself, and I learned a lot from that.
Which day of filming? I'm gonna put Encounter in the title just because we talked about it. I'm gonna do it.
We'll talk more about this when it comes out.
True. It was so much fun to film. This is one of my favorite that we've worked on.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen the full spliced together footage yet, but
you will because you're about to do editing.
Yeah, I'll see that in a couple hours. But based on what I've seen, I'm very happy with how it looks.
I think this is some of my best work is editing. I don't want to brag.
I'm excited because I think we're really
I'm really getting into my groove with editing.
Yeah, and I think we're really working well as a team too.
Yeah. Which, I tried to go in and do a lot of audio stuff. It still kind of scares me. It's very intimidating once those waveforms pull up.
Yeah.
I'm a little out of my league, but I did go through a little bit and do, the first couple of scenes, first couple of cuts.
Okay.
I just want to do more of that, you know.
You want to move on to Parallax?
Yeah, we can. Let me get it pulled up here. I just accidentally clicked on Mitchell's versus the Machines. Hold on. There's another movie we watched if you want to talk about that briefly. I don't really have much to say about it, though.
Maybe I feel like that is one I'd rather do a full thing on.
Yeah, I get it.
Just because it's a newer movie.
The donkey belongs to the river now. It's dark. Didn't expect that.
And also remind, real quick, while you pull that up.
Yeah.
That scene in Mitchell's versus the Machines reminds me of a very specific memory from my childhood.
Did you drown a donkey?
No, but what happened was...
Did you let a donkey drown?
What happened was, my grandparents would take me and my cousin.
Yeah.
They would take my side... Okay, so it was me and my cousin.
This sounds like you're about to admit to drowning somebody.
Hold on. So there's me and my sister, and then our first cousins on that side of the family.
Yeah.
And we both have one that is our age.
Okay.
So there's 4 of us. And so our grandparents would take, and we're both very close in age.
Yeah.
So we turned 10 at roughly the same time. And our grandparents would take us on a trip to celebrate that. They went to San Francisco. They took me and my cousin to the Grand Canyon.
Okay.
Which is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah.
That's one of the few national parks where I just really want to go to.
Oh, it's so nice.
Look what you did. You got me into a discussion about national parks and parks and recreation. So this is what we're talking about now. Forget your story. Your story is over with. We're going to talk about the Grand Canyon and Glacier National Park.
I also went to Bryce Canyon. And Antelope Canyon. Which is gorgeous.
I'm definitely going to be one of those retired people who just gets a camper and goes to national parks with my
the arch.
Wife.
The one with the arches?
In St. Louis?
There's a rock arch.
Yeah, I probably should know that.
No. Anyway, I think this was at Bryce Canyon. I don't remember which one specifically. But we went on horseback.
Yeah.
To ride down into the canyon. They put me at the front of the line. I had never been on a horse before. I was 10. And they like to ride very close to the edge of the canyon. So that was a fun experience. And about halfway through, because there are goats everywhere.
Yeah.
Sometimes the horses will just go chase after the goats. So my granddad... His horse decided that it was time to chase after the goat and started going up the hill after it.
Oh, man.
I was like, well, we lost Granddad. He belongs to the canyon now.
He's still out there.
Yeah.
He's just...
We haven't seen him since.
Oh, man. That's horrible. I hope you guys find him one day.
No, he is still alive.
Yeah, but he's out there.
Yeah.
Gone in the canyon.
He's in Arizona, but he's still alive.
Oh, fine.
So.
That's always great. All right.
You got it pulled up?
What's up?
You got it pulled up?
Yeah, I got it pulled up, ready to go. I guess I can introduce this one. I made you introduce this one. The Parallax View, movie that neither of us had seen.
Another Criterion film.
Yeah, another Criterion just recently got released.
Yep.
One that'll probably get. I didn't like it as much as I thought it would, but I still thought it was very good.
I thought it was solid.
It was
Fine.
This is a 1974 movie directed by Alan J. Pakula?
Yeah.
I hope that's how you say it.
I'm just either Pacula or Pacula.
Pakula? Pakula.
Pacula would make sense.
I don't know if it's like a foreign...
Yeah, I don't know where he's from, so I don't know how that
I can tell you that he is an American director, writer, and producer.
Oh.
This is just his bio. He was nominated for 3 Academy Awards.
All President's Men?
Best Picture for To Kill a Mockingbird. He was a producer.
Oh, I was going to say, no fucking way.
Yeah. Best Director for All the President's Men and Best Adapted Screenplay for Sophie's Choice. Which, yeah, he directed Sophie's Choice, like the big Meryl Streep movie.
Yeah.
This is 1 in 3 movies, a trilogy of 70s political thrillers, a lot of 70s paranoia. All the President's Men, which is the one that I think everybody knows.
Jack Nicholson?
Robert Redford.
I'm thinking of A Few Good Men.
Yeah. Dustin Hoffman, too.
Huh.
Clute, which is one that I haven't heard of.
Clute?
It's got Roy Scheider, Donald Sutherland, Jane Fonda, though. So, I'll probably check that out.
Big 70s cast, I feel like.
Yeah, and then...
I think those guys were big then.
Then the Parallax View, which is probably the second most popular now, but definitely the most that I'd call a cult classic.
Yeah.
It was not well received or very popular when it came out, though. But I'm glad that it's found a second life.
Mm-hmm.
It's really like a very cut and dry political thriller, especially with one like the 70s.
Very like straightforward.
Takes a lot from like the noir type a movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the reviews on Letterboxd specifically was like, if you took a film noir and put it in color and made it about the Cold War, this is just what it'd be. Because it is. It's a very straightforward. Very straightforward movie. I guess we can go into plot and then just...
Yeah.
An ambitious reporter investigating a senator's assassination realizes witnesses to the shooting are systematically dying and discovers a multi-million-dollar corporation known as the Parallax Group, which serves as a front for the recruitment of political assassins. Which I thought that's very interesting because I'm big on like mysteries and thrillers. I was a big fan of Under the Silver Lake. It's my brother's like favorite movie. Yeah. Under the Silver Lake. But it's very, very cut and dry thriller. I really enjoyed it.
I didn't love it, but I think there's a lot to like within it. I really liked how it was shot.
I thought the cinematography was fucking awesome.
I thought it was spectacular. That was the biggest highlight for me.
I loved
the scene on the Space Needle.
There's a lot
really cool.
I have notes here. Like my first note is like some of the set pieces.
Yeah.
With, like the dam scene.
Yeah.
Where they're fighting at the dam, and then when they're fighting on the top of the Space Needle, that stuff is really cool.
Yeah. It also uses like very like dark muted colors extremely well to really create a sense of like paranoia and
with characters like shrouded in shadows.
Yeah.
A lot of the great cinematography that I really wanted to highlight is specifically that end scene. I don't know if we want to get into like spoilers quite yet, but there's an end scene in the movie, the one with like all the tables at the big ceremony.
Yeah, how it just holds on it when he...
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that.
When that happens...
It really lets the moment sink in and...
yeah.
Kind of holds weight.
Yeah.
And you like feel it.
Yeah. I didn't think that the script was very good. I didn't really
it does kind of...
It felt noticeably weak.
Yeah.
But I was looking at a lot of reviews, like, from at the time specifically, like Roger Ebert, and a lot of them...
Ebert really liked it, didn't he?
I think he gave it like 3 out of 4. Yeah. He thought it was good but needed work, which is probably...
Yeah, I would agree with that.
To cut it down in a very like loose...
I think one of the top reviews says like there's a lot to like here, but it feels like just something is missing that keeps it from being like a great movie, and I would definitely agree with that.
I think that it's a reason why it's not like a huge household name.
Yeah, it feels like it's very close to being a fantastic film,
which is
that just kind of comes
given
up a
the
little bit
reception
short.
of something like All the President's Men. I think it's something that he like figured out a little too late.
I haven't seen All the President's Men, but I feel like that I could see a logical progression to where that would be like what he's really going for.
Yeah, I didn't love the script, but I thought that the directing was really good.
Like the cinematography, the directing, a lot of great framing.
A lot of the technical stuff was done extraordinarily well.
I think it's a technically great film.
Yeah, I just wish the story was a little bit more fleshed out, because I thought the concept was very cool.
And I liked a lot of the performances in it.
There's one that I'm not huge about.
Who's?
Specifically Warren Beatty. Main character that people absolutely fawn over, because they're like, he's so charismatic and the super 70s machismo. I didn't really get that. I was like, I don't think he comes off as kind of a self-absorbed asshole, really. Yeah, I don't know if that's a product of his time, because it's got a lot of 70s cliches in it, unfortunately. Yeah. But I was like, this guy comes across kind of like an asshole. But then I found, I was watching it later, it's not wholly unintentional.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of...
Yeah, it's kind of... I was like...
Kind of like a disillusioned,
Yeah, it's very
disgruntled, cynical individual.
A little nihilistic.
Which I think fits in with the idea if you look at the ending and,
Yeah.
So I think... I get what you're saying. You want to
just get into spoilers here?
Yeah. Because the thing is...
Spoilers for the Parallax View. Anybody listening?
He dies, nothing changes, it's all just...
Yeah, his whole journey is completely worthless. Which is the point.
So I think... I get what you're saying, but I think thematically it was a very appropriate performance.
Yeah. I really... It was about the first half where I was like, I don't know if this works. And then he was explaining, he's like, you have the perfect characteristics that we're looking for. And then it comes full circle at the end where it's like, oh, he was set up to be an assassin's scapegoat, and he didn't even know it until it was too late.
Yeah.
Where he, was murdered and then used as a scapegoat for the murder of that politician.
Yeah.
The first politician based off of Robert Kennedy, I was reading, which it probably makes sense. He's a very charismatic, populist politician. But...
What? I'm trying to remember. What's the name of his boss?
At the paper?
Yeah.
If you give me a second to look it up.
So that was another performance that I really enjoyed.
Hume Cronin is the actor?
Yeah, I thought he did a really good job.
I really liked him.
Not like a huge role or anything, but I thought I liked the scenes that he was in, and I thought he really.
That was the thing. Well. I liked his acting. I wasn't a huge fan of the character.
Yeah, I'm just talking about I think his performance is very good.
If it was a comedy, I think I would have liked it a little better, just because it's got a lot of cliches of the 70s, which is
it takes itself very seriously.
Which it should. It's a political thriller.
Yeah,
but it has a lot of. It feels almost like a cop movie.
Yeah.
Because it's literally, I was like, there's literally police car chase scenes. He's jumping the median. There's a shot of the car in the midair. And then there's a scene of the boat exploding, and they have 4 different angles of it. It's this hasn't aged really well.
No, it definitely feels like a period of its time.
Unlike Dr. Strangelove, which is targeting a specific period of time, but is incredibly it still resonates today. It's still talked about today.
Because of the way that it deals with.
Yeah, and it's not vague either. It's something that just nothing's changed.
Yeah.
So it is unfortunately still relevant. This one, it feels a little bit.
I mean, just in some areas, I think Parallax View still feels kind of relevant, because just you look at, especially I think. And conspiracy theories have obviously always been a huge thing. That's why this movie got made in the first place.
But it's I feel like a movie like Dr. Strangelove does it better.
No, definitely. But what I'm getting at is I think when you look at the rise of like social media and how everyone can look, and the internet as a whole, I feel like these things are so much more accessible, and you can have. Really, you could also get like a lot of groups, like kind of how QAnon has risen up.
I think
like,
you can kind of see that in that scene where they're conditioning him at the Parallax
yeah,
building.
like that's a part that I definitely feel
montage with
which is a great scene.
Mother happiness, and then have like an image of the Pope, and I think that's the coolest scene in the movie.
No, it is. I would agree.
It's super like it's very freaky. It's kind
also
of in
like,
your face,
and it's very like out of place in a sense. It's in place like thematically, but
it kind of comes out of nowhere.
It comes out of nowhere, and it's like the framing of the shots and everything. It's within it takes up the entire film
very
for a minute.
Long too.
Yeah,
it goes on for way longer than you like a whole 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah, I really like the way that they included that.
Yeah.
But I think that idea is still very relevant today.
Yeah.
Just because of how accessible like communities are that want to fit in and rally around like a conspiracy theory and.
But I did think it was like, he's a tough, no-nonsense guy who's his boss is getting in his way. He's like, I'm gonna do this, screw you. And then his boss is like, you ain't no good.
Yeah.
Turn in your badge and your gun. You're fired.
Turn in your papers.
You're off the force. It's unfortunate that this hasn't aged so much better.
He's like, go cover Parks and Recreation.
Which is
the thing that he tells him to do in the movie.
Hey, a Parks and Rec name drop just to shit on it, which I was like, hey. Which they also do that in House of Cards. Which, hey, I remember they have that in House of Cards Season 1 where they're like, why don't you... Kevin Spacey's character threatens... that reporter, I forget the actress's name, and I feel bad about it because she's crazy good performance. But he's like, why don't you go cover a Little League game? And I'm like, what is with some of my favorite political thrillers having this running theme of making fun of journalists for covering Parks and Rec specifically? I feel a little bit called out.
I always forget that recreation is parts of recreation.
What?
Because you're like Little League. Like, oh yeah, Parks and Recreation. Because I just think of the parks.
Like, when you think of Parks and Recreation, you specifically think of, like, a park ranger.
Yeah.
Climbing a mountain.
Yeah.
Whittling a walking stick and drinking creek water. Fighting a bear. Building a raccoon house.
Yeah, that's what I think of when I think of park rangers.
Yeah.
Fighting bears with their bare hands.
Just a park ranger fighting a bear to death and just like, okay, you can pass now.
The trail is clear.
We have blazed this land in our image. Sometimes they just let old people on mules go into rivers. In Arizona.
Yeah, like
What were we talking about?
Parallax View.
Oh man.
I liked it. I didn't really like it.
Liked it, didn't love it.
Yeah.
That's my general consensus.
I thought it was a very, like, technically well done, narratively lacking political thriller.
I do think it was missing something.
From the 70s, yeah.
This could have been so cool.
Yeah.
I love the concept. I'm just not huge on how it was executed.
Yeah.
And that's not even to say it was executed poorly. Because, like we said, the technical stuff was really well done. It was just...
Ultimately, it's fine.
Just needed some work, which is, I feel like, is the worst case scenario for a movie. You can't really go back and redo it unless you're Justice League.
Yeah.
Still made a movie worse than Parallax View.
Oh, yeah. I would definitely put this above.
Yeah.
But,
both movies directed by...
Zack
Snyder, too. Every movie we've talked about today was directed by Zack Snyder. Produced and written by Chris Nolan. So you know it's Kino.
They put Tenet on HBO Max. I'm probably going to watch it.
You haven't seen Tenet?
I never saw Tenet.
I've seen Tenet once.
Okay,
this is a whole nother story.
It's a little sad.
This was like middle of the pandemic when Tenet like first came out, and no one saw it because, of course, they didn't.
It was like June.
Yeah, it was a June
2020.
Where it was like, it was still in that period of like, don't go outside or
the
grandma will
heart
die.
Of the pandemic.
Yeah, very much right before the eye of the storm, kinda. So of course no one went to see it in theaters, but I kind of really wanted to see it just because it looked interesting. So I watched an illegal theater cam rip, a Russian cam rip on a Croatian website with hard-coded, edited-in Chinese subtitles.
Then it is international.
And wouldn't you know it, I couldn't hear a thing they were saying. I was like, God, I wish I could speak Mandarin so that I could read what was going on in the movie. I didn't love it, but I probably should give it another watch just to give it a fair, give it its due diligence. It is probably my least favorite Nolan movie, though.
Any final thoughts on Parallax View before we...
It sucks. I hate it. No, it's pretty good. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5.
This was one of the 3 stars no like for me.
Really?
Yeah.
So you absolutely thought it was terrible.
Because 3 stars no like is like it's fine, and I can appreciate like the technical aspects and what they went for. But ultimately it's missing something. I didn't really love it.
3.5 and a like.
Okay.
Two cookies and a Coke. I just had a cookie and a Coke. 2 cookies and a Coke.
What the fuck are you talking about?
What a day. What a lovely day. It's the David Lynch thing.
I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Have you not seen that before?
No.
Look, we have the picture of David Lynch.
We have a framed picture of David Lynch in the apartment.
In the studio.
Yeah, it says that has...
No, we're not in an apartment. We're in a studio recording this.
It has an attached whiteboard that says Tenet Best Picture 2021.
How prophetic for this episode. I'm looking it up.
It's been there for 2 months.
And it's not coming down, and I'll bring it to when I move into my new place, too.
Who gets custody of David Lynch?
Me, because it's my picture frame and printed photo. Here it is. I just had 2 Cokes. 2 cookies and a Coke. Phenomenal. Wow.
Podcasting is a visual medium.
I'll throw it in. I'll throw it into the YouTube one. So
put it over the.
Yeah, I'll just edit it in for a few seconds. For everyone listening on Apple or Spotify or Google Podcasts, make sure to check us out on YouTube as well, so you can get bonus content like an image of David Lynch that you can probably just Google. I work tirelessly. I slave away at my editing grindstone for you people. For all 8 viewers.
How long is it going to take to edit this, Alan?
2 minutes to edit, 3 hours to render.
Okay.
And another 45 minutes to process it.
And while we're at it, Strangelove was 5 stars and a like, because of fucking course it was.
Yeah, I did. That's why I didn't even bring it up, because
it's like,
of course it was.
Yeah, if you listen to us talk about it, you could very much tell that we're going to give that 5 stars.
Wow, this is our shortest episode to date.
How long are we in?
By that I mean it's the shorter of the 2.
How long have we been doing it?
About an hour.
Okay.
It's 54 minutes specifically.
Okay, I think
that's a wonderful time. I feel like we can wrap it up.
Yeah. Head towards the end here. So
thank you guys so much for listening to us go on and
make
on.
Our editing decisions live on the podcast.
Talk about Parks and Rec. This is the Parks and Rec.
This is the aside episode.
The what?
The aside episode.
Yeah, where we just go on about different stories about.
Based on the aside from earlier, next week will be a bit, or next 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Will be a bit different because we're gonna do a TV series.
Yeah.
With Invincible.
Invincible season 1. That as of this recording, I've seen the entire first season.
I have not started.
And it is wonderful, and you guys will get to hear about that.
Amazing things about.
This will give me an excuse to rewatch it again. And also,
movie. True.
So next week, we didn't just have like a 2-minute discussion about.
No, because we had decided, and you threw a different movie at me in the middle of recording.
Also, I just nicked the microphone here with my foot, so I hope that doesn't screw up the audio at all. We're having a great time.
Fine.
I'm cutting this out. Don't worry about it.
Next movie is Army of Darkness. We're having a friend on. Bye.